Hey guys, here we are back with part 9 of sculpting Steve Ditko's Spider-Man. This one is going to be a quick one. I just want to show you where I am. Where we left off in part 8, I was making these little web lines on the boot, on the left boot, I think it was. So yeah, that's where we left off. Um, and I didn't want to, so I showed you the whole process of how I make these web lines one at a time. It's very, very tedious. So I didn't want to make a really long and boring video of web lines. So off camera, I did the rest of the web lines on the suit, up here in the torso and the mask and the gloves and stuff. And it's the same process. So if you want to see how I did the web lines, just go back to chapter 8 on this playlist and you'll see exactly how everything was done. But anyway, I've finished the web lines and I'm about to punch them out of the costume using the Boolean function. So I just wanted to show the piece beforehand, before I do that. So I have live Boolean turned on, as you can see. If I turn that off, you're going to see all the web lines as positive shapes that have not been punched out yet. So let's zoom in and see. Let's see now. Zoom in. You see how all of the lines are like a tube, a positive tube shape resting on the surface. That's done with the curved tubes brush, the curved tube snap brush, which comes with ZBrush, by the way, by default. It's up here under curved tubes snap. There it is, right there. But now what we're going to do when we turn on live Boolean, you see all the cutters. I call the web lines cutters because they're going to cut into the surface, right? So all the ones that are going to cut, I turn on this little icon, the half moon icon. All the positive shapes, the legs, the torso, they have the double circles lit up here. But when you turn on this second one, the little half moon shape, that makes it into a Boolean. So let's turn on live Boolean. And you see that, how all the little lines cut in now? Now this is just a preview, remember. This hasn't done it yet. It hasn't done that function yet. It's just a preview. What do I have lit up here? I have selected, I have the left boot cutters selected. So let's take a look at the left boot. Now, each one of these lines is a separate bit, a little separate bit of a tube, right? And I had to draw each one of these on by hand, one at a time. So I can manipulate them if I need to, which I do. As I see, if I turn on the whole model, I see some of them are getting lost. You see right there in the sole, and right here, this one's not meeting. Some of the lines are not deep enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn live Boolean off for a second. I'm just going to take a look. See that one where it wasn't deep enough? It looks like it's not touching the shoe enough. So let's see, let's take a look. Right here on the ball of the foot, it looks like it's not pushed in deep enough. So I'm going to go back in with my Move Topological brush, and I'm just going to tweak some of these lines. So I'm going to grab this one and pull it down. I'm going to pull this in more. Now I can do this with the live Boolean preview on, and it's easier. So let's turn on live Boolean. See that? I'm just going to grab these lines and pull them in, and it actually shows me how deep the cut is going to be. So I like to do it with the function on. Now this one is giving me a little trouble right here. I don't know. You just got to angle it right so you can pull it down. There we go. And you can go, and I had to do this. This is why I didn't film this part. I had to do this with every single line on this costume. I had to go back and tweak and push and pull every single one of these web lines. So it did get pretty boring to do, let alone watch, you know, so I didn't want to film that part. So right now I'm almost there. I just got to check the boots. The boots are the last thing that, or the shoes, the last thing that I didn't check, the web lines. See that right there? See how that web line is just disappearing right in here? So I pull it down. I pull this over. Whoops. And sometimes you can use the inflate brush. See that? But sometimes it gets too thick. I can inflate them, but it will get too thick. And I don't want that. So let me go back and just try to pull, just try to pull the lines together manually like this. Now you can imagine there are literally hundreds of these web lines. You can imagine how long it took to do the whole costume like this. So anyway, we're almost there. And once I get all of this done, I will Boolean these out of the surface, and I'll have nice scribed web lines. All right, I'm getting there. It's a lot of back and forth, you know. Let's push this in. That's very sloppy, Tony. I guess this is where the line meets. Yeah. So if I turn on auto groups, it will make every one of these a separate polygroup. So let's hit auto groups. See that? Now they're all a separate color, separate polygroup. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to Dynamesh, I want to isolate this bottom one and Dynamesh that together so it's not an open line like that. So let's split hidden. Right now I split the rest of the boot off from this one, and let me just isolate that. I'm going to make it as clean as I can, and I'm just going to Dynamesh those two tips together, so it's all one nice, clean, continuous tube. Okay. What do we got? 13,000 on this? Let's Dynamesh and see what happens. Dynamesh. Let's go up a little. Dynamesh 8,000. See, now all that is merged together. Let's divide it once and smooth it out. I'm going to get my inflate brush and just kind of inflate some areas and smooth it out. Okay, now let's turn on live Boolean again and see what this looks like. Okay, just got to push that in some more. smooth. I mean, you know, this is going to be a 1/6 scale figure, so unless you're really zooming in, you're not going to really see this wobble right here in the line. Whoops. But I like to make it as clean as possible. Anyway. Okay, now these guys, that's not touching. You really see the flaws when you zoom in like this. And once it's printed in resin at that scale, it's really not gonna you're really not gonna see all of this sloppiness here. But unfortunately, this is the only way I know to do Spider-Man's web lines. And if I love Spider-Man, so if there was an easier way, I'd probably be sculpting him a lot more than I do. I've sculpted him a couple of times, but these web lines are a bear to sculpt. So that's why I kind of avoid Spider-Man unless it's, you know, a real job. But this poster really is such an iconic image, and I like it so much that I really wanted to sculpt it. So, see, the trick is to just get the right angle before you push it in or pull it out. You want to get the right angle on the model. Okay. So let's keep going. Yep, there's another one. And you can imagine I've gone over this thing several times, and I just keep finding little bits that are not connected. And see that right there? So that's why I skipped over all that, and I just, you know, filmed a little bit of this. But I'm gonna come back. I'm going to come back with another video. I won't do the boolean until I'm ready. I will show that on camera because it's an important step. But I think I really need to keep going with this cleanup. I think I really need to go over it again before I pull the trigger and punch these lines out. See that? Every time I move it, I see a new line that needs to be adjusted. So the moral of the story is, if you're thinking of sculpting Spider-Man, just know what you're getting yourself into. It's going to be a little bit of work to do these web lines. Unless, of course, you have a better way. I would love to hear it down in the comments section. I can't imagine that there's a way to do this. I was thinking about UVs and trying to wrap this pattern around the UVs, but it really is a specific pattern, and it really needs to be done by hand, I think. Maybe AI can help, I don't know. I wouldn't know. But for right now, this is what I've got. Okay, I'm almost at the top. All right, one more right there. Okay, I think that's about it on that boot. So thank you again for looking. I'm going to come back. I'm going to do the other boot like that. Just go over it. I'm just going to go over things. And hopefully in the next video, we will start out by punching all these lines out. And then, let's see what's left. Then we can pose him better. Right now he's standing up straight. I want to tilt him over, lean him over more like in the poster. And what else? I think that's about it. I think we're very close. And then of course I'll follow up these ZBrush videos with some actual 3D, actual 3D printing videos showing the resins come to life. And I may even paint this guy by hand. I mean, with actual acrylic paint and brushes. So thank you for looking. Let me show you what I've got so far. There we go. All right. Turn the colors on. So there he is with the live Boolean preview on. Let me turn on the base parts. Whoops, you see that? I dynameshed that sole line on the shoe and I lost the color. So let me go back and just color that black. Oops, what happened? There we go. Whoops. There we go. So there are the support rods. Now that's going to be in the next video as well, I hope. These support rods are going to be 1/4 inch thick. So I'm going to punch out the holes in the knee and in the thigh 1/4 inches. I'm going to try my best to get that measurement right. And I'm going to have to go pretty deep into the leg because I don't want this thing to wobble. I think this heel is definitely going to touch the base. I think this toe might even touch the base. If you look at the poster, I don't have it handy. Do I have reference here? Yeah, I think I do. I think I have my reference right in here. There it is. That one. So if I look at the poster, that's the angle that he's going to be. He's going to be tilting over, right? Like that. That's the correct angle of the poster. So this toe might even be touching the base. I'm going to have to take a look. I don't think so. I think it's going to be up in the air a little bit. So I will need this, but these posts might be a little bit shorter than this once I tilt him. And of course you got the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man down there, which I did right there. Sorry, it's very, my machine is slowing down here. I got 35 million, which is not that huge, but my machine is old and it's slowing down. But there's the logo that's going to be on the base. I made that in Adobe Illustrator. I actually Photoshop. I took a screenshot of the poster and I had to go in. It was very blurry, so I had to go in with a brush in Photoshop and just draw over it and rewrite it nice and crisp and clean. And then I took it into Illustrator and I created a SVG file. And the SVG file, you can generate this. You can generate a 3D version of it. So that'll be on the base, like so. And a raised element like that. So it'll be easy to paint. I don't know, maybe I'll do a debossed version. I'm not sure yet. Meaning, you know, cut it in, punch it in. Let's see what that looks like quickly. There's my base. Let's turn off the color so we can see it better. All right, so there's the embossed version, the raised version, right? Now if I Boolean it out, if I turn on that little half moon shape and punch it out, that's the debossed version, which might be cool. I kind of like I'm leaning toward the raised one, but that might be cool. That's a little deep. Maybe a little more shallow would work. But anyway, I'll decide on that when the time comes. But anyway, thank you for looking. And I'll see you back with part 10 in a little bit. And then we'll do the Boolean function and punch out all those web lines. Okay, guys, thank you again for looking, and I hope you got something out of this one. And I'll talk to you guys later.